So good morning, I'm Kay Robertson, Education Officer in the BGE team in Stirling Council, and I was formerly Head Teacher at Riverside Primary in Stirling. I've always been interested in how we meaningfully involve children and young people in school improvement. I heard about the Young Leaders of Learning programme as I keep an eye on what's going on in education through networking, social media, etc. I'm particularly interested in innovative practice which makes a real difference to learners and to their schools. During the pandemic, we worked with Maxine Jolly in Education Scotland to initially train 5 primaries and 3 secondary schools. The schools with me today were part of the initial pilot, and some went on to present at a head teachers meeting, which then encouraged more schools to take part. And due to their enthusiasm, 25 primaries and 4 secondaries came on board, and they've all been trained in the Young Leaders of Learning programme. So now we have a total of 30 primaries out of only 38 that we have in Stirling Council, and all 7 secondary schools across the authority trained. I'm now going to hand over to the Young Leaders of Learning from the Dunblane Learning Community.
Hi, I'm Catherine, and today we are presenting from Dunblane High, and we have representatives from Dunblane High, Dunblane Primary, Newton Primary and St Mary's Episcopal Primary. I'll firstly say a bit about how schools were matched up. Schools could choose what their preference was. Work with schools in their own learning community, or large city schools were partnered with similar demographic, or perhaps a small rural school were choosing to work with a large urban school. The choice was theirs. They were organised into pairs or trios of schools to work together. In Stirling Council, our head teachers work in school improvement partnerships, so some head teachers choose to work with their partnership schools for the Young Leaders of Learning programme.
Part of the training involved giving quality feedback using the ABCD model. The ABCD model helps us give effective feedback. It stands for accurate, balanced, constructive and depersonalised. These all provide us with a structure and allows us to give helpful feedback.
We also had to draw what Young Leader of Learning might look like. This is Charlie, as you might have seen him before. So we have a light bulb above his head which shows that he has bright ideas, a graduate hat that showed that he was stuck in school, so he'll be be good at being stuck in. His brains outside of his head to show that he thinks outside the box. He has big ears to show he's a good listener, big eyes to show he's attentive, a smile to show he's friendly. He has a green thumb to show that he's eco-friendly, and a friendship bracelet to show that he's good at fitting in with others, or working with others. And then he has hands round as a belt to show that he's inclusive, because the belt of inclusivity or something like that. He has big shoes to show that he can walk in other people's shoes, and a bookcase to show he's organised.
Fantastic.
To tell us more about the development of schools through the programme, we will hand over to St Mary's Primary.
When we started Young Leaders, we thought about the type of skills and personality you need to be successful. Since starting, we've found out how we've improved our skills. The skills we are getting better at is something that all the schools in Dunblane focus on with our learning. We have our skills icons that are displayed in our schools. This is what they look like. Management and team working, communication and literacy, problem solving, application of numeracy and digital literacy, presentation skills and globe icon showing that we're a good citizen.
We have a project that we'll be working on that will help to improve our school, and it's on the school improvement plan. We want to help improve mental and physical well-being in our school with a focus on creative play and learning. To do this, we realised that we will be focusing on our skills and working together. Communication skills are really important. We have to be good listeners and take on other people's ideas and opinions. We are also getting much better at talking, not just to people in our own school, but also to the other schools around Dunblane. I could never have imagined myself being able to do this. We're also going to be part of training new young leaders and pass on the skills we have learned to them.
To show leadership, we have to be respectful to each other, to adults in the school and all the pupils in the school. Respect is also one of our school values. We also have to be able to work as part of a team. We need to be able to work with our head teacher, other pupils in our school, and as part of the whole Dumpling group. We have to plan and be organized, and this can be part of problem solving. Our digital skills will also improve as we learn to create surveys and work on how to do the best for our school. From this, we'll also need to present to other people. So far, we've shared with other schools and spoken at a recent meeting with all the head teachers in Stirling. Presented to the Education Scotland, and now sharing this again today. These are opportunities that have not happened before, and it's really exciting to be part of this project.
What is really good about being a young leader is that over time we have seen our confidence grow. Recently we have arranged visits to Dunblane Primary School and they have visited our school. This was great fun and was interesting to see that although we are both focusing on creative play and learning, each school is doing this in a way that is best for their school. Next, we needed to plan on how to take this project on and develop the role of young leaders in schools and how we help make our school even better.
Thanks so much, St Mary's. That was so interesting about how the two schools have met and you're doing things in different ways, but you're all focusing on creative learning and teaching. Absolutely excellent. So one of the key parts of the programme is pupils giving feedback to head teachers. And when I was training with the young people from Dunblane High School, we had a little bit of a light bulb moment. Audrey, can you tell us a bit more about that?
So when I was first told that I had to give feedback to Dunblane High School deputy head teachers and head teachers, I was kind of worried because I wasn't sure how to do that, and I was wondering why they wanted our feedback. But once I learned about the ABCD model and I realised that they did want our feedback because we're the ones benefiting from it and it would help the school improve, I realised that I became more confident in giving the feedback. We'll now hand over to Newton Primary School, who will tell us a bit about how they were preparing for their partner school, which was us, to visit them.
At Newton Primary School, we have been investigating quality learning and teaching. I'm Alfie.
And I'm Ethan. We are 2 of 6 young leaders at Newton.
We've been working with Mrs. Kane, our head teacher, to think about what makes an excellent lesson.
In 2019, Mrs. Kane worked with some teachers and our pupil council, asking them what made an excellent lesson at Newton. The young leaders of learning have been looking at this again, updating it with what we still agree with and what we think we could improve.
On the whole, we agreed with most of the ideas, and we also agreed that in almost all our lessons, our teacher followed this. There were a few things, though, that we thought we could improve, that we thought we could add to make learning even better.
Some of the things we added are our Dunblane Community Skills Framework. We feel that our teachers should always ask or share with us what skills we are practicing or learning within our lesson.
We would also like opportunities to be more creative throughout challenges, to help us solve problems, to work as a team, and to be responsible for our own learning, for example, using Connects, Lego, or the arts and crafts space more. So we added this into the excellent lesson too.
With Mrs. Kane, we have now created a new What Makes an Excellent Lesson at Newton, and a child-friendly version which every class has a copy of this on their wall.
The young leaders of learning at Newton have been partnered with Dunblane High School. This term we plan to arrange for the young people to visit our school to talk to children about quality learning and teaching.
Firstly, we took the high school pupils on a learning walk around our school, focusing on things like displays, digital resources, classrooms and our open areas. We asked them to give feedback about what they thought supports learning well and what could be improved.
Using our excellent lesson at Newton as success criteria, and by having discussions using the reflection questions from our young leaders training, we asked the high school pupils to meet and talk with children from across our school.
The young people from Dunblane High then met with Mrs. Kane to feedback about what changes children would like to see and what they think we can do to make learning and teaching even better. They did this using the ABCD feedback model we learned at our Young Leaders training.
Thank you for listening.
Thanks very much, Newton. We are really enjoyed visiting your school and hearing more about your particular project in learning and teaching. Dunblane Primary are now going to tell us a bit about their project, which they shared with St Mary's when they visited recently.
I'm Rebecca.
I'm Cara.
And I'm Elliot. When St Mary's came to visit us, we showed them things we are proud of in our school.
We were excited to tell them all about how we were helping to lead our play journey in school. After we gave the young leaders from St Mary's a tour of our school, we showed them our bloom room and chatted to them using the sketch notes we created. This sketch note tells us why it's so important to play during school. We used the Realising Ambition model to help us plan our play journey.
Realising the ambition is basically what we'd want our school to look like.
So we've got being yourself, including others,
Listening to other people, sharing ideas and using your skills. After we used our spare classroom to develop into a play hub and created spaces for children to explore different and creative activities to show everyone you can play and learn at the same time.
We began by visiting the nursery. We got so many great ideas from these visits. We thought that the way the nursery used list parts for play was really good, and we wanted to explore this in school too. We used open-ended toys, and we made most of the things in the bloom room ourselves.
We thought about why it's important to play. Learning isn't all just about sitting behind a desk with a worksheet. You learn lots throughout play as well.
We really enjoyed showing the young leaders from St Mary's around our school and having a chance to talk about our play journey.
We've also been developing learning for sustainability in DPS.
Elliot's going to tell you more about that.
We've also been linking our global goals to our learning, and the Sustainability Squad have been working on the planters in our school field and promoting biodiversity Changemaker Awards. We have been working on Changemaker Awards to celebrate the pupils and classes who have been working on the SDGs.
Overall, when St Mary's visited us, we visited them, it was a great experience and we learned loads.
We're very excited to go to see the other schools and see what they've been working on.
Thank you. Thank you, Dunblane. Later in the film, we will hear from the young leaders of learning from Bannockburn High School. Our next steps for the programme are encouraging all the trained schools to organise their events. Bannockburn High helped with this as they presented at the head teachers meeting and gave the head teachers a call to action. We need to evaluate the programme for children, young people and staff, and also encourage our current young leaders of learning to be involved in training the next cohorts.
Thanks so much. So I'll say a little bit more about the impact a bit later on, but in essence we aim that the impact will be the young leaders of learning across our school communities are empowered to inform and lead change and improvement in their own and other schools, whilst also developing their leadership skills during the process. And I'd like to say a huge thank you to all the young people who are presenting today. You've been absolutely fantastic. Thank you.
We did the visit at Newton.
Yeah.
That was fun. They gave us a tour. It was nice to see because I went there for primary school, so it was nice to see all the changes they made. They've got wooden floors now.
Oh, wow.
And doors.
Okay, so I think the lag is really, really important. But in terms of in the classroom, what does it look like?
I would say that the students to be comfortable, so not always just sitting down working on paper or your Chromebook, getting active, because that's also very good. Having the teacher involved, but also letting the pupils lead, because then that can also help build friendships.
Absolutely.
It's very sit-down lessons, which I actually quite enjoy, so I think it should be a bit diverse.
Yeah,
Some
so
students like it and some students don't.
yeah, and I think that's important. Sometimes when I go into classes or go around to school, I see some what I refer to as passive learning, and young people, the teachers teaching from the front, and the young people are doing a lot of really active listening, you know, and you can see that they're concentrating and they're, you know, they are involved in the lesson. But what we want to see is that flipped slightly. You know, we want to see activity, we want to see engagement, and we're looking at learner engagement. You know, it's hard to judge that when it's teacher-led lessons. So how are we evolving our lessons so that actually you are taking responsibility. So you're making up the success criteria. You're making decisions within that lesson, and that might happen in isolated lessons, which is important. But how can we expand that? You know, how can you actually then have, you know, going back to that improvement plan you were talking about, how can I, as the head teacher, make sure that you're involved in what we're trying to take forward as improvement within an improvement plan? What do I need to do?
Next question.
Because obviously you have a curriculum to follow, you have to teach us certain things, but there could be more sort of like choices like between two things, rather than just like a teacher telling us we're doing this topic today, or we're just sitting listening, because some people will feel differently each day. So some people might want to go outside one day and stay inside another day. So being like more flexible and having less sort of fixed.
Even if it's not
lessons.
the curriculum you're changing, but how they're being taught.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, because sometimes online work's really good and independent work. Some people don't like group work, sometimes people do, and it can be good.
So how do I go about getting that information? What do I need to do?
Probably doing what they did at Newton, just taking groups of children, like from different classes, and giving them the same questions and seeing what their answers are.
Perfect, yeah.
So we could also
having focus groups, yeah?
Because they might give different answers from teachers to students.
Yeah, maybe even, because we could use pupil councils, but I feel like they're only doing one point of view, like, because they are the pupil council.
Yeah.
If you're doing like children who are not involved in anything, to see what their acts are responsible.
Yeah, good. And that's some of the discussions that Mr. Ritchie and I in particular have been having quite recently when we're thinking about the improvement plan for next year. And for Mr. Ritchie's large part of his job is around the well-being of young people.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about, you know, each month having a focus on one of the different well-being indicators, having a survey, and then from that, so from the responses, then pulling a group of young people together who want to discuss. Okay, you told me that in the school, for example.
We have been engaged with the Young Leaders of Learning programme since May of 2022. In this time, we have gained skills and knowledge that will prove useful throughout the rest of our lives.
We started our Young Leaders of Learning journey with a training course that brought together all of the schools. Throughout this short training session, we were briefed on all of the activities we would partake in as a Young Leader of Learning.
The standout feature of Young Leaders of Learning is the opportunity it provides to tour other schools in your area. This means that pupils gain insight into what happens at other schools and how they differ from their own.
We found our visits extremely useful in the improvement of our own school and what it offers. We really enjoy getting to experience Stirling High's unique extracurricular activities, and were able to bring back an array of new ideas that we could bring up with our school's pupil improvement team. It also gives schools room to strive for improvement. If a pupil sees something they feel that they should have at their school, Young Leaders of Learning will give them the motivation to campaign for change within their own learning environment, and will give them evidence to back up their points.
Throughout our time in the Young Leaders of Learning, we have been invited to participate in many school-based events outside of the programme. This has given us the multitude of opportunities that assisted us to make connections and develop skills that will make us more appealing to education universities in the future.
The programme is also a great way for schools to build relationships with one another. It provides a great collaboration front. It makes way for schools to be in contact with one another, to share ideas and become less separate.
With amazing networking, students are also able to make new friends and meet various people along the way who they can work with. This is great for building teamwork skills and confidence qualities. Making friends and connections outside of their own school environment can be very beneficial for students' education and social lives, and will often make primary school pupils transition into high school easier.
We fail to see any flaws within the Young Leaders of Learning programme. Its ability to benefit young people's skills and experiences in education is outstanding. Speaking from personal experience, I must say that it has made an amazing improvement within our school for our young people.
And it also builds confidence as well.
Yeah, it helps. Create confidence as well. So even if you came in and not very confident, you could become confident through the programme.
So what else do we need? We need like teamwork skills, like collaboration.
Yeah, like communication skills as well. Being able to talk.
Communication
And
skills.
work together.
And on top of communication, do you think
Teamwork.
like collaboration, like
Yeah.
collaborative skills?
Yeah. It's like leadership
I'll
skills.
put that on the other side to make it easy. What else do you think?
You need to be like I think it's like kind, like well mannered, approachable.
Yeah, well mannered.
What did I just
Teamwork. No. Leadership skills.
Well mannered. Yes, leadership skills. Thanks, Sam.
The Young Leaders of Learning, along with the We Count Pupil Council, work with the head teacher and deputy head teachers to shape improvement. This involves representatives from the We Count group, Young Leaders of Learning and other pupil groups, listening to the views of their peers and providing informed feedback from their action plans. The Young Leaders of Learning have presented their work on what makes a quality lesson at Newton Primary to pupils from Dunblane High School who recently visited. Our next steps will be some work on the quality of feedback that pupils give, organising for our Young Leaders of Learning to train the next cohort, and we intend to offer an opportunity for our young leaders to write part of our Standards and Quality report.
So I hope this film has given you an overview of the Young Leaders of Learning initiative in schools across Stirling Council. I'll just finish with some information around the impact for our learners. Our initial pilot of the Young Leaders of Learning included some of the young people that you've heard from today. So the impact of the pilot was through qualitative feedback. Children and young people felt their ideas were valued and were making a real difference to improving their own school, whilst offering suggestions to improve other schools. Moving forward for the new cohort, we use qualitative and quantitative feedback. We've designed a Google form with the children, which collates data through a questionnaire for pupils, which is implemented before they start the training, later in the session. So I would recommend this initiative to you. After all, children and young people are experts when it comes to their learning experiences because they're living it. Thank you.